Now, at first, I was going to make a video just dedicated to analyzing Shibuya, but instead, I wanted to discuss my favorite aspect of the arc and really just deep dive as to why this fight might be one of the best concluding fights when it comes to shonen itself. To first start off, we need to look at the first encounter between these two and what exactly they represent. Mahito, when meeting Yuji, is established to be the new curse on the block that apparently has the potential of becoming something deadlier, similar to our protagonist Yuji. The character that brings these two together is Junpei, who actually becomes friends with both characters. With Mahito, he learned if he wants what's his, he can show him the path to take it, and Mahito was trying to talk to Junpei at his absolute worst and manipulate him. Meanwhile, Yuji became friends with him and didn't manipulate him, and even when he fell down a dark path, Yuji saw the best in Junpei and swore he could get him out of this. Mahito tries to bring out the absolute worst in Junpei, whereas Itadori, even at his worst, wanted to bring out the best. Which is also something that Sukuna somewhat does, constantly being the dark thought in the back of Itadori's mind, calling him weak. Which is why, although not on the same side, these two curses would come together and mock Itadori while he's down, after witnessing his friend dying. Now you see, Mahito is a character who mainly attacks the soul, and besides just protecting your soul with cursed energy, there isn't really an effective way to counter Mahito's ability, because in order to put him down, you need to specifically hit his soul, and Yuji, who's basically in Mahito's same shoes but as a sorcerer, and due to being the vessel of Sukuna, would manage to hit Mahito and affect said soul, showing to Mahito that Itadori is his mortal enemy, which makes a lot of sense with what the story portrays. Mahito is a curse adapting to the human world, whereas Itadori is a human adapting to the world of curses. Yuji would show his humanity being vulnerable when raging out against Mahito, while Mahito just mainly trolling him for the most part, and was going to end up finishing him off anyway. It wasn't until his teacher Nanami came to save him and the two managed to make Mahito retreat. And before we talk about this, I want to briefly talk about Nanami. Nanami is someone who at the end of the day wants to make a little difference to someone's day. If he can help someone and get a thank you, that's all he really needs. At the end of the day, Nanami wants to help and protect others, which is why he acknowledges Yuji as a sorcerer, since that's what he mainly wants to do at the end of the day. Yuji, despite knowing he's on a time limit, will do anything he can to help someone out or make sure they are okay, because that's all he can really do. We see him even feeling guilty about killing Eso and Kichizu as they were crying out for their brother. I say this a lot when talking about Yuji's narrative, but he really is defied by his humanity, and him carrying all that fire within him despite his circumstances is one of the many reasons why he's such a likable main character to me. That's why to me he's even up there with the likes of Luffy, Johnny Joestar, Edward Elric, etc. You genuinely think everything's going to be okay because he believes it himself and will do his best to make it happen. And that entire mentality is tested to its very limit in Shibuya. Not only would Itadori face a losing battle with Choso, but also suffers the hundreds of deaths that Sukuna caused, and he couldn't do anything but just watch it happen. And on top of all of this, Itadori would then see his mentor die at the hands of the curse that they fought together in the first arc. Yuji's rage would clearly consume him, but this would mean nothing to Mahito, similar to their first fight, since he loves bringing out Itadori's worst. Not only does he want this, but he also wants Itadori to understand that they are one and the same, which initially you think sounds dumb, but from what we've gotten in the previous arcs, it's not. The same question Yuji asks Mahito can be applied to him just as effectively. He wonders why Mahito kills humans, but why do sorcerers even murder curses in the first place? Itadori at first is in denial of this, and is still being dependent on the help of others, which is why the moment Nobara hits Mahito's soul, Yuji saw that as a way to basically make his comeback. And then we see Mahito trick Yuji and Nobara, leading into Nobara questionably dying right before Yuji's eyes. While Yuji is literally going through the worst pain he's ever felt before up to this point, Mahito would be on a power high, pulling off a black flash and hitting Itadori with his own trump card. Hope is all lost for Itadori, but that's when Todo saves bro and gives him the reality check that he desperately needed. Yuji comes to terms with the fact that sorcerers eliminate curses as if it's something that they have to do. Yes, they are their own entities, and from Mahito's perspective, you understand why he's so merciless to humans, but Itadori can't really think about that logic right now. At the end of the day, things don't need a reason, but the most important thing you learn is, reason or not, you keep moving forward. Even with Nanami, Nobara, and everyone around Itadori who he thought he could save died, Itadori pushes forward with the circumstances as he needs to defeat this curse once and for all. He'll carry out Nanami's suffering and fights alongside his brother Todo, giving us one of the best action sequences in the story. Narratively, you guys already know it's gas, but from moments like Mahito using NPCs to hurt Yuji, the Manji kick, Todo not being touched by Mahito, all three bringing out 120% of their potential, Todo's Black Flash, there's really nothing in my opinion that's stopping this outright in the action department besides maybe Yuji versus Choso. We get Mahito evolving rapidly using a 0.2 second domain plus transforming into final villain mode. Itadori has no other choice but to use everything he has left in a Black Flash. And can I just say, the fact that Itadori won this battle through not only the help of the person who brought up that dog in him, but utilizing the technique that started it all and even impressed Nanami back in the early chapters, Divergent Fist, which he has such a mastery over that he can control when the delayed impact hits actually hit Mahito. And with Todo's fake out Boogie Woogie, Mahito would then tank a fatal Black Flash blow that leads into Mahito reverting back into base. And this is when we see Yuji Itadori confirm that he is indeed Mahito, and he will continue to kill curses since people like Mahito affect his life like this. It doesn't have to be explained why this battle started hundreds of years ago. Ever since the start of it all, he's really had no grudge against curses in the first place, but it's just something that he's had to do, and will continue to do for as long as he lives. And we see the power high Mahito this time running away from Itadori in probably one of the best panels in the whole manga, as the fight then reaches its conclusion. This conflict, honestly, bro, is probably the anime equivalent to Joker and Batman. I love this dynamic so much, and I love just talking about it to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed me just rambling about these two. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. You guys already know. Share with your friends, share with your grandma, and stay safe, ladies and gentlemen.